Today, we will review the Sunnyside evaluation system. All certified staff will be evaluated this year using the Sunnyside rubric, which has been updated. The teacher evaluation handbook has also been updated, and a link will be sent out to all certified employees once it's board approved. The information we cover is in the handbook for certified teachers to reference. In the orientation today, I will review the following: state legislation, district policy, key components and rating percentiles, and the evaluation process, timelines, and forms for the 18-19 school year. District policy also mandates that a district evaluation committee must be developed to complete any work related to the teacher evaluation process. The committee members must consist of the following: teachers, principals, and central administrators. For the 18-19 school year, the committee members are listed on slide 3. The committee will continue to meet throughout the year. State legislation mandates that all districts throughout the state are required to include in their current teacher evaluation instruments quantitative data on student academic progress. That accounts for between 33% and 50% of the evaluation outcomes. Within the Sunnyside evaluation tool, student growth counts for 34% of the total process. All districts were also required to implement this new evaluation system in the 13-14 school year. District policies have to be implemented yearly. In August, the orientation on the teacher evaluation system must occur in the first 3 weeks of school or within 3 weeks of an individual's hire date. Itinerant staff who are assigned to multiple sites must be assigned one qualified evaluator by the first student contact day. Yearly, the superintendent takes a list of qualified evaluators to the governing board for approval. Qualified evaluators must be board approved prior to completing their first formal evaluation. Key components of the evaluation process. Student growth can be classroom level and or student level data, which equates for the 34% of the evaluation. Teacher performance is evaluated using the Sunnyside rubric and equates for 66% of the process. When you combine the 34% for the student growth and the 66% for the teaching performance, the total score is worth 100%. The final evaluation report equates for 100 points. The evaluation process consists of the following: a pre-conference. It is optional. However, it must be held if either the evaluator or the teacher requests it. Informal observations. The evaluator must conduct at least 2 informal observations, and 1 must occur before any formal observation. Formal observations must be based on a complete and uninterrupted lesson. This can be bell to bell in a secondary class and a minimum of 30 to 45 minutes of uninterrupted instruction at the any classroom level. The evaluation process consists of observations. Non-continuing teachers have 2 formal observations. 1 formal observation can be unannounced. Continuing teachers have 1 formal observation. If a teacher is not satisfied with how the lesson proceeded during a formal observation, the teacher has 2 days to request that the observation be rescheduled. Formal observations must be 60 calendar days apart. Formal observations may not take place 2 days before any scheduled period in which school is not in session for 1 week or more, unless agreed upon by the teacher and the qualified evaluator. Post-conferences. Teachers are required to submit a self-reflection within 5 days after a formal observation. Principals are required within 5 days after a formal observation to provide written feedback to the teacher. This can be a draft of the final report. A final evaluation report conference must be held at least 5 working days before the end of a semester. Area of concern. When there is an area of concern from an informal walkthrough or a formal observation, the evaluator must communicate in writing within 5 days. Identification of Group A and B teachers will remain the same this year. To be identified as a Group A teacher, you must have 1 year of consistent data to qualify. There are 2 levels that qualify elementary and middle school teachers into Group A, the ELA and math teachers. In the elementary level, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade teachers qualify because of state testing. Kinder, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade teachers are Group B teachers. Middle school level content area teachers who teach ELA and math qualify for Group A. All other content and elective teachers are Group B teachers. At the high school level, because the state test is given at the 10th grade and not again unless the students fail, teachers don't have yearly consistent data. So all high school teachers are Group B teachers. The Sunnyside rubric consists of the following: 4 domains, 18 descriptors, and 72 indicators. The 4 classifications are ineffective, developing, effective, and highly effective. The rubric is color-coded. Domain 1 is design and preparation and highlighted in green. Domain 2 is classroom culture and structure and is blue. Domain 3, instruction, is orange, and Domain 4, professional responsibilities and contributions, is yellow. On this slide, the top arrow identified the domain name. Under the domain, the descriptors are listed straight down. And for all descriptors, there are 4 indicators for each classification. The final evaluation report consists of the following exhibit forms. Exhibit C, which is student academic progress, which equates to that 34%. Exhibit D is the total score from the Sunnyside rubric on the teacher performance. Exhibit E is the teacher performance form that designates the final rating the teacher receives for the 66% on the rubric. Exhibit F is the final summative report, which is where the final classification is determined, which are highly effective, effective, developing, and ineffective. And finally, Exhibit G, which is your professional development plan. Exhibit C will be updated once AZ Merit data is finalized this school year. Last year, Exhibit C was divided into 2 sections, and each is allotted for 17 points. 17 points will still be focused on Exhibit C, which is the professional growth plan. All certified staff are required to develop and complete a plan. The other 17 points will be focused on student growth, and that student growth is determined by AZ Merit. The District Evaluation Committee will meet to determine how the proportion will be distributed. The committee's recommendation will then be shared out to all certified staff and leadership. Slide 15 is a snapshot of the Exhibit D, which is in True North logic, and is used to determine teachers' rubric scores. Slide 16 is a snapshot of Exhibit E, which is the teacher professional form that determines the 66% and classification for the rubrics section of the tool. This form is a step in the True North logic system and folded into the final score to determine the classification. Exhibit F is used to determine the final classification and is also in True North logic. Professional Development Plan, which is the Exhibit G. The Professional Development Plan is for all certified staff. Every certified plan should have two goals. One goal should be focused on the site 90-day plan. The second goal can be individualized. Both goals should be supported with data to show how students' growth occurred. Teachers should have professional development plans developed and reviewed by their qualified evaluator by the end of the first quarter. Exhibit G form is in True North logic and must be completed in order to receive the June payment. Professional Remediation Plan. Teachers who have been ranked ineffective on their final summative evaluation for the 17-18 school year will have their first formal evaluation in late August or early September. If after the first formal they are still ranked ineffective, they will be placed on a professional remediation plan that will run for 45 calendar days. Reminder, a major change in legislation for teachers who are currently at a continuing teacher status. If a continuing teacher has been designated after an evaluation within the lowest possible classification, which is ineffective, for 2 consistent years, they will become a probationary teacher for the sequential school year. The second formal observation will occur in December if the teacher is still identified as ineffective. The next step is to place the teacher on an instructional plan of action. A preliminary notice of inadequate classroom performance can be issued at this time. For a preliminary notice of inadequate performance, the timeline is first observation in August or September, the remediation plan for 45 days, the second observation in December. If they are still inadequate, the inadequate classroom performance team will be selected to assist with this process, and the instructional plan of action will also cover an additional 45-day period of time. A third observation will occur at the end of the 45 days. A report will be generated from the evidence gathered over the 45-day plan and the final observation. If the teacher improves, they will be issued a contract for the following year. If they have not improved, termination will be recommended. The timeline for being placed on an inadequate classroom performance is instructional improvement plan, 45 days starts in January, third observation at the end of the 45 days, final report and recommendation. The appeal process. The teacher must request an appeal in writing within 10 working days after the teacher receives their final summative evaluation report. The appeal shall state in detail, and I repeat, detail, the grounds for the appeal, and shall also request a meeting. The qualified evaluator shall meet with the teacher within 5 working days after the request for an appeal. Within 10 working days after this meeting, the qualified evaluator shall issue a written decision regarding the appeal. The written decision shall state the basis for the conclusion reached in the decision. The teacher may appeal the qualified evaluator's appeal decision to the superintendent within 5 days after receipt of the qualified evaluator's decision. Pay for performance. HB 2823 required that starting in the school year 2014-15, evaluations no less than 30% of Prop 301 Bucket 2. Money should be tied to a teacher's individual evaluation. The governing board approved that 33% of its 301 funding as paid for performance. The teachers who fall into the following categories: developing, effective, and highly effective on the teacher evaluation performance section, which is at 66% of the evaluation, will receive a pay for performance stipend in late August. This will continue for the 18-19 school year as well. Effective and highly effective teachers will receive $1,400. Developing teachers will receive $600. In closing, I want to thank you for taking time to review the district evaluation system. I want to remind you that it is your professional responsibility to read the Teacher Evaluation System Handbook and educate yourself on the policies and procedures within the evaluation system. As a certified classroom teacher, you can start gathering evidence throughout the year to support the criteria within each of the 4 domains. Remember, this is a continuous process. If you have any questions, please seek answers so you have a clear understanding of how the process will work this school year. If you need assistance on True North Logic, please contact your qualified evaluator or send a help desk ticket to IT for assistance. Thank you and have a wonderful day.